And they're off for the 2021 Grade 1 Betfair Chase. And Bristol De Mai and Royale Pagaille in the pink silks lead them towards the first of the 19 scheduled fences. Each jump it soundly. Waiting patiently, seemed to find the first fence catching him slightly by surprise. And he got in a little bit close to it in last place, the pink cap for century chasing Brian Hughes. So 2 circuits ahead of them. And it's Bristol De Mai who has his grey head just in front of Royale Pagaille on the paddock turn, tracked a couple of lengths away by the nose-banded Imperial Aura. And then a 3 or 4 length break to Aplutar, Rachael Blackmore in the Cheveley Park silks of red, white and blue, racing on the inner of Clondor Castle. Further couple of lengths away to Chatham Street Lad, and waiting patiently, held up as they begin a gentle downhill run towards the first of the 5 fences across in the back straight. So Royale Pagaille and Bristol De Mai taking on the early pace, each landing safely enough there. Better jump from waiting patiently in last place. Seems to have warmed to the task now as they head on towards the third. Royale Pagaille on the near side of Bristol De Mai, tracked by Imperial Aura. The leading pair each shortening up going into that. Chatham Street Lad, the hoop sleeves landed a little steeply. Last but one behind Clondor Castle and Aplutar, and just in front of waiting patiently. Midway down the back straight for the first time, and all 7 safe enough there. So on towards another plain fence before the first of the ditches. They're approaching the 5th. Royale Pagaille and Bristol De Mai. And Bristol De Mai the more fluent of the leading duo. Imperial Aura remains 2 or 3 lengths away in third, tracked by Aplutar. And then Clondor Castle with the dark sleeves and cap. And Bristol De Mai really came out of Jacob's hands there at the ditch, soared out over it. Just leading Royale Pagaille into the far corner from Imperial Aura, Aplutar, Clondor Castle, Chatham Street Lad last but one, and finally waiting patiently. So they're moving on now towards the last 2 miles of the Betfair Chase. This field of 7 winners between them, are 35 of their 100 appearances over fences, and they have cumulative career earnings in excess of £2 million. And Bristol De Mai striding on in his bid for a record equaling success in this race. Leads Royale Pagaille towards the near side. Imperial Aura taking off and landing right behind the leading pair. 3 lengths to Aplutar, tracked by Clondor Castle, and waiting patiently the pink cap, disputing last with Chatham Street Lad. Here's another open ditch, fence 8. Bristol De Mai again very assured, wasting no time in the air. Royale Pagaille on the left, the nose-banded Imperial Aura a couple of lengths off the lead. Third in the line up the straight, brings them to the end of a circuit. Bristol De Mai virtually joined once again by Royale Pagaille. Then Imperial Aura, Blackmore sitting quietly in 4th aboard Aplutar in the red, white and blue. And the final 3, Clondor Castle waiting patiently, and Chatham Street Lad. And there Royale Pagaille jumped particularly fluently alongside Bristol De Mai. At the other end of the field, Chatham Street Lad was less assured and was in close to it. So halfway, a circuit to go in the Betfair Chase. Royale Pagaille in the pink and Bristol De Mai have been the leading duo from the outset, and there's been very little change in the order in behind. Imperial Aura is still heading the chase, just over 2 lengths in advance of Aplutar. And the final 3, Clondor Castle, waiting patiently, makes a position, and Chatham Street Lad is now just last of the field. Going along at just shy of 30 miles an hour as they begin the downhill run towards the 11th. Royale Pagaille and Bristol De Mai. From Imperial Aura, Aplutar, Clondor Castle waiting patiently, and Chatham Street Lad rising. Leading 3 jumping well, the 4 in behind matching those leaps, and on to the 12th they go. Royale Pagaille, Bristol De Mai on the near side. Imperial Aura has his mind made up for him there and responds with a very swift leap, very good. Forced an error from Chatham Street Lad, who was just being asked to go a little quicker at the time. Towards the midpoint in the back straight, a mile to go. Bristol De Mai jumping soundly alongside Royale Pagaille. Imperial Aura is down. He landed steeply, jumped so well at the previous fence, but he landed very steeply there. He might have mildly inconvenienced waiting patiently, who had to be nudged along on the landing side and is back into last place, and he's a little bit adrift. He made a mistake there as well, waiting patiently, and it's Royale Pagaille from Bristol De Mai with Aplutar waiting in the wings as they take the open ditch at the end of the back straight. Royale Pagaille in close to it. Aplutar on the outer, ranging up in behind Bristol De Mai. Chatham Street Lad belying his price at the moment in fourth. The hoop sleeves, then Clondor Castle. No real show from Waiting Patiently, who's toiling out the back. He's being eased off, looks like being pulled up by Brian Hughes, and it's Royale Pagaille with Jacob now just asking for a little more from Bristol De Mai, and still Blackmore has yet to move in behind on Aplutar. 3 lengths away to Chatham Street Lad and Clondor Castle, last of the 5 still going, and they're heading now towards 4 out in the Betfair Chase. Royale Pagaille in the Richie Silks to Bristol De Mai, asked for a bit more effort still, and he wasn't as quick as through the air as Aplutar, who has now sauntered alongside Royale Pagaille. Chatham Street Lad is being to close in. He moves up to take third. Bristol De Mai is relegated to fourth. Here's the open ditch. Royale Pagaille narrowly from Aplutar. Chatham Street Lad with 3 lengths to make up. Bristol De Mai is well held. He's now last. Clondor Castle has gone fourth, and Aplutar, with a sense of see you later, has forged on to take over at the second last. Bristol De Mai has been pulled up, and Blackmore still sits quietly, and Aplutar is opening up with just 1 left to jump in the Betfair Chase. Aplutar over safely with a long lead over Royale Pagaille in second. Clondor Castle and Chatham Street Lad are fighting out third. There's only 1 horse in this, the first Irish train winner of the Betfair Chase, and a golden year for Rachael Blackmore continues. Aplutar, a class apart, sees off Royale Pagaille, Chatham Street Lad in third, and Clondor Castle last of 4 to complete.
The Betfair Chase went away for Aplutar, ridden by Rachael Blackmore, a horse, a very special horse. Obviously your first ever Cheltenham success came on him. That today looked very easy.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It's not often you get to ride a Grade 1 winner in that kind of fashion, but he's an extremely classy horse, and yeah, it was a very enjoyable race to ride, I have to say.
Going out there, you knew Bristol De Mai would bring you along, and it just looked the whole way around. Everything was so straightforward.
Yeah, he maybe didn't jump as well as he can. Bristol in front of me at times, but look, he's a fantastic horse as well, and I knew he wouldn't be an easy one to beat around here. But you know, everyone at home is very happy coming over with Aplutar. He was ready for today, and you know, he proved. Yeah, he done it really well.
That jump 4 from home, I don't know if you had a chance to see it yet. It just looked like you just joined in.
Yeah, look, he's got gears, he stays, he jumps really well. He's got a very nice style of running. You know, he cruises along there without, without, you know, doing too much anywhere. And yeah, it was a very good performance.
Even beforehand, the pack paddock, he's a very unassuming, quiet horse walking around the paddock. He looks like whatever sort of ability he has, he gives himself every chance to bring it out.
Yeah, he was a little bit more on his toes today actually, but look, Henry's horses are in fantastic form, and yeah, it's great to be part of that team.
When you got to Haydock today, I'm sure you had one eye at the beginner's chase. Bob Ollinger, he was good.
He was a very good performance. He's a very impressive horse, and it was great to see him. It was great to see him do that today. So yeah.
And a great a Haydock welcome. It was a bit like riding a Cheltenham winner. The noise when you're coming back in.
Yeah, fantastic crowd over here.
Yeah, well, it's great to have you here. Polished ride, well done.
Thanks, Dad. Thank you.
Watch live racing now on racingtv.com.